But if we don't update our vision, if we just keep chasing the thing we wanted years ago, we might wake up one day realizing we don't actually want it anymore. Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. You already know my deal. I build, scale, and sell multi-million-dollar medical businesses, and I'm sharing my journey so that you can do the same. This isn't a podcast that tells you what you should do. This is a podcast where I tell you what I did, so you can take what works and leave the rest. So I was hanging out with my good friend, Vaughn Kohler, the other day. If you don't know Vaughn, he is the co-founder of Charismatics, our medical mastermind, and also a former pastor and literary nerd. He's also co-host of the MFCEO Project podcast. By the way, our mastermind is in full swing these days, and you can join at joincharismatics.com. We'll help you scale your medical and aesthetic business. We'll teach you the mindset and methods for success and happiness, and we'll connect you with other great people in medical and aesthetic businesses who want to crush it, just like you. Anyway, Ron and I were talking about books. You know, the kind you were forced to read in high school but probably didn't care about. And he told me that recently he went back and reread The Great Gatsby. Now, he hated it back in school, but this time he actually liked it. But you know what? I liked it back then, and I like it now because of what it meant. But as we got talking about it, something clicked for me. If you don't remember the book, or you were smart enough to use Cliff's Notes instead of actually reading it, let me break it down for you. Jay Gatsby is this guy from North Dakota who completely reinvents himself. He goes from being a nobody to a rich playboy who throws these massive, massive parties. But here's the thing. He does all of it for one reason: to win back a woman named Daisy. Now, he knew Daisy in the past. They had a relationship, and then life happened, and they lost touch with each other, and he became obsessed with getting her back. He spends years building this fantasy in his head of who she is and what their life together will be like. And when he finally gets her, he realizes something brutal. The version of Daisy he fell in love with doesn't exist anymore. He's been chasing a ghost. When Vaughn and I were talking about this, I had a realization. A lot of entrepreneurs fall into the same trap. When we start out, we have a vision of what we want, a dream we obsess over. We tell ourselves, if I can just hit this revenue number, or if I can just get this type of business, or this type of lifestyle, or to this level of success, blank. So we grind. We work like maniacs, but here's what happens. We change, our wants change, our perspective changes. But if we don't update our vision, if we just keep chasing the thing we wanted years ago, we might wake up one day realizing we don't actually want it anymore. We idealized it. We got stuck in an old dream instead of evolving. And that's how you end up burned out. That's how you end up unfulfilled and wondering why you thought this would ever make you happy. So how do you avoid chasing ghosts like Gatsby? Well, first, you check in with yourself regularly. You ask yourself, do I still want this? Is this actually making me excited? Your goals should grow as you grow. If they don't, you're living in the past. Second, be brutally honest about what matters to you now. Not 5 years ago, not what your past self wanted, not what society says you should want. What do you want today? There's really no other way of saying it other than that. Building something special takes a long time. What you want in your mid-20s isn't usually the same as what you want in your early 30s. So as you're building shit, in order to keep yourself engaged and motivated and on track, you've got to constantly ask yourself, not just what do I want, but what do I want now? Number 3, stop romanticizing the past or idealizing the future. Look, nostalgia is great, but it can trap you. Stop thinking, if I could just get back to that time, that place, that feeling. Look, the future can be just as much of a pitfall. We can be overinvested in it, idealize it. It's funny, but a quote from The Empire Strikes Back just came to mind. And basically, it's Yoda calling out Luke on his own bullshit. Luke says he's ready to be a Jedi, but Yoda, he's not so sure. So he says to Luke, a Jedi must have the deepest commitment, the most serious mind. This one, long time I have watched. All his life, he looked away to the future, to the horizon. Never his mind on where he was, what he was doing. Adventure, excitement, A Jedi craves not these things. You are reckless. Translation, Luke, get your shit together. Don't have your mind on what's to come. Focus on the now. The thing is, Yoda would probably also bitch slap Gatsby too. He'd say, all your life you have looked back to the past, to some perfect history that never existed. Focus on now. The thing is, Gatsby chased the past, and in the end, it destroyed him. Don't let that be you. Evolve your vision. Stay in touch with what excites you now. Focus on what is meaningful to you now, and then execute the things today that will bring you closer to what you want. Because the last thing you want is to spend years building something, chasing after a goal or a dream, only to realize you don't even want it anymore.